falling from left to right. I can feel you over here. I can feel you over there. My memory falling from left and right. Yeah. My chapstick went through the wash. I lose so many chapsticks every year. It's the worst. Sorry guys, my chapstick went through the wash. What's up, Kirsten? I always get those wrong. Nice to meet you. Let's do this today. All right. We are going live today. Hop on in, everyone's welcome. Let's do some life coaching. So welcome to my coaching, and we're gonna get going with it. Let's do this. So this is gonna be kind of a Q&A. I've been thinking for the last couple of weeks, like maybe I'll have people actually come on and get coaching, but I feel like that always kind of kills the vibe. So we're gonna reserve coaching specifically for the community. So if you want help, hop into my community. I'd love to have you. Welcome to my live. All right, so we're gonna go live today for about an hour and 20 minutes. And yeah, whatever I can help. Thanks for the likes, guys. I appreciate that. Anything I can help you guys with, let me know. Life coach, got you. I've been doing this for 3 years. This is not new for me. I've been doing lives for about 4 actually, but been life coaching for about 3. So whatever I can help you guys with. I am literally a real deal life coach, not like one of the fakies out there. I can help you with whatever you need. So please, if you have a question, what's up, Abby? Abby, thank you for coming to my workshop last night. I appreciate that. How to stop thinking about my ex? Yeah, that's the thing. What you resist persists. So the real question isn't how to stop thinking about your ex. It's how to stop thinking thoughts that make you stuck to your ex. That's a good question, right? So the reason why it's so hard for people to get over a relationship or whatever it is because they have these belief systems that cause them pain that they're not willing to look into. So you can't go, Robert Frost, the poet, he says the best way out is always through. What does that mean? Like emotionally, what does that mean when you're in this problem where I'm stuck to the ex? Like you have to be able to go through the thoughts and the emotions. You have to understand what you're currently thinking and believing, even if it's painful, so you can do the work of changing those beliefs. So if you want to get over your ex, you have to figure out what you're currently believing and feeling towards your ex, right? That's painful work. A lot of people don't want to do that, so they're trying to push their way around without going through. Make sense? If you want help with that, I have a course in my community called The Foundation. It's free. I'd love for you to join and take that course. Can't stop overeating, yes. So if you have an overeating problem, I really do recommend you join my community because I'm going to do workshops on that for free. But here's what I have to say about that, okay? Overeating is an underfeeling problem. It's the best way anybody can ever explain it. It's the most direct, easy way to say it, okay? What does that mean? It's an underfeeling problem. It means that when I'm eating more food than my body needs, it's because I'm trying to escape an emotional experience. Every single time. There's no exceptions to that rule, I promise you. If you didn't have an emotion in your body, you would not be driven to escape anything, right? Emotions are energy in action. That's just how emotions go. So if I'm currently doing any compulsive behavior, whether it's eating, smoking, drinking, whatever it is, I have to understand what I'm feeling in relationship to that thing and to learn how to deal with my emotions in a more proper way that doesn't need me to escape them, okay? If you have questions about that, go to my community. Yes, so anxiety. I'm so happy you asked about this. I do workshops every single week. I just started a community last week. So I'm doing a workshop every week on different subjects. Next week, I'm literally doing a workshop called How to Manage Anxiety. It's a free workshop. The community is free. In addition to the free community and the workshop, I have 2 free courses in there that are also free that are gonna, I think that this should be accessible to everyone since it's changed my life so much. So if you want help with anxiety, I'll give you some information, but I really do recommend sign up for the community, come to that workshop next week. And even if you can't make the workshop live, then I will put it in the workshop vault all for free. And I put a worksheet and everything. So, the main problem that I see with anxiety truly is that most people in society think that anxiety is a problem when it actually isn't. Now, I want to speak carefully. Yes, there is a clinical amount of anxiety that could be considered a disorder, right? Most people will never deal with that amount of anxiety, okay? And typically when we have that much anxiety, it's because of trauma and experiences that we need to go and work through in therapy, right? Again, most people aren't there. If you have anxiety, the best thing I can give to you for a normal amount of anxiety, which is probably what you're experiencing, is to learn how to be uncomfortable and be anxious and not make it a problem. Because there's a psychological truism, and it's kind of a spiritual concept as well, is what we resist persists. So when I have a completely beautiful normal emotion like anxiety, sadness, grief, whatever it is, right? Normal emotions, and I think it's abnormal, I actually try to solve for it, and it's me trying to solve for something that isn't a problem that creates the problem. It's kind of confusing, right? But that's how it goes. So if you want to get more information about that, please join my community. It's a free community. I have 2 free courses in there. That's the foundation of everything I teach. And I'm doing workshops every week. The next one's on anxiety. The one I did yesterday was on life coaching. So you can understand what life coaching is. But all of it's free. I'd love to have you, seriously. Join my community. Right now it's free. It won't be for long. My dog's snoring. Can you guys hear him? Sky, what's up? What about dealing with family issues, helping a friend with those issues? Yeah, I mean, it's very general what you said, but I think the best way to help people with their issues is to let them just go through unconditional love, right? And what is unconditional love? It's I'm not gonna make a judgment on what's best for you. Maybe the best thing for you right now is to experience this issue and just to have someone who is not gonna judge you for experiencing it the way you're experiencing it. That's as general as I can go with a comment like that. Does that make sense? You can say more about it if you'd like, and I'll talk to you about it, okay? How to have a better social life. Yeah, go and talk to more people. It's an internal problem, okay? Anything that I have that's a problem externally has manifested internally first. So if I have a problem connecting with people or going and meeting people, it's because I'm not very deep with myself. I promise you. The level of relationships you can build externally is the exact same depth of what you have going on internally. So if I feel like I don't meet a lot of people, I don't do a lot of things, it's like, well, what's going on inside, right? Well, I'm probably doing a lot of things I don't want to do with my life. I hate my job. I'm overweight. I don't like the way that I eat and wake up. So fix your inside problems and then take action that feels aligned to you, and you'll get friends. It really is that simple. Like, how do you make friends as an adult and have a better social life? Do the things you're interested in. Now, most people aren't doing that because they have all these beliefs that they don't deserve it or they can't have it. Or it's like, life is simple when we get rid of the limiting beliefs. I have to get my dog really fast. He's really bothering me. Dexter, come on, Stinky. Let's go. Come on. Sorry. He's a puggle. I love him very much, but he's just too loud. Come on. You gotta go. Go sleep in David's room. You're okay. I love you. Okay. Sorry. He doesn't snore, you guys. He wheezes. And it's like, I can't even sleep with that dog. He's so comically loud. Okay. If you want to quit vaping, 2 things. I have a podcast, #1 in the world for quitting vaping, literally called the Quit Vaping Podcast. Check it out. And if you don't want to do that, go to my community for free. I'll teach you my foundation all for free. There's 3 addictions. You got to deal with all 3. Okay. So that's what I recommend for you. And it doesn't matter where you go. Podcasts or community, each one will help. What's up, Abby? I think we already talked about that, right? Yes, okay, 1 second. Let me make sure I don't skip any comments. You're welcome, Devins. Girl, why did my ex yell down the street to ask me how I've been and if I moved the city? He has a girlfriend. I don't know exactly what he was thinking, but I promise you that his thought created emotion in his body, and that emotion drove an action of screaming. I don't know exactly what his model and his situation was, but we could find out if we asked him. If you try to quit vaping so many times and it hasn't worked, it's because you're trying to force yourself to change your action without changing the beliefs that created it. Okay? What I do as a life coach is I help you understand how to change your beliefs, and I help you change them. If you are currently in any kind of pattern, whether it's overeating, vaping, etc., whatever the substance is, the reason why it's a pattern for you is because you have a bunch of thoughts and beliefs that you need that thing in your life to cope. That's pretty much it, right? Now, those beliefs aren't true, but if I believe them, then it'll create a problem. And that's exactly what's happening. And again, if in terms of quitting vaping, I'm literally the #1 person in the coaching space and probably one of the fastest growing ones in the world that can help you with that problem. So go to my podcast, the Quit Vaping Podcast, find it wherever you want to listen. YouTube, Spotify, Apple. You can join my community for free where I'll teach you exactly what I'll teach you in the podcast, but in a course format, all for free, and I'll do workshops on it, okay? I'd love to have you. Hey, what's up, Benny? Good to have you. All right. Thanks for coming. Gabia, that's pretty. Is that Hispanic at all? Gabia, that's pretty. Why does everything in my mom does irritate me? Because you're taking it personally. That's why. And also because it's a projection, because you don't want to be like her and you are, and that bothers you. So anytime she does something that you know you also are guilty of, instead of looking inward, you get angry outward. It's just a projection. Thank you, by the way, Benny, for the heart. I'm gonna call you Benny. So that's it. If something this is a psychological truism. There's no exception to this rule. If somebody else is bothering you with their actions, the reason it's bothering you is because deep down, or maybe not so deep down, you can see that you're acting the exact same way somewhere in your life. So when my mom says, for example, it's a very real example for me. When my mom makes fun of people and judges people, like literally just judges people without even knowing them, that bothers me because I do that too. So it's like, when I actually look at it, it's like, why is it bothering me? She shouldn't do that. Why shouldn't she do that? Where is it true that I'm doing that, right? And I always ask internal questions and figure out with introspection, I can always find a place where I'm also doing the thing that is irritating me that someone else is doing. It's always a projection. So what I recommend for you is, instead of being judgmental, you get curious, right? Is there somewhere where my mom is acting like I'm acting like my mom? And is it true for me? And if you actually get curious, you'll find the answer is always yes, or else it wouldn't be bothering you. The proof that I know that you're projecting is that it's bothering you. If the emotion wasn't there, then it wouldn't be projecting, right? All right, what qualifies you to life coach exactly? Genuine question. What do you life coaches do? Yeah, great question. I just did a workshop on this for free in my community. If you want to join for free and then get the workshop, it's 30 minutes of actually explaining the difference between therapy and coaching and what the differences are. But in general, life coaches help you get specific results by teaching you very practical tools. The difference from therapy and life coaching is that therapy is clinical, life coaching is not. Therapists diagnose and treat. Life coaches aren't diagnosing or treating anything. I see everyone as a perfectly worthy human being that's perfectly whole. You just don't have the right tools to get the results you want. That's all. It doesn't make you less than or worse than. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you or needs diagnosing or medication. It just means we're not looking at the right problems and solutions. That's all. The thoughts, the emotions, that's it. So life coaches help you get results you haven't been able to get before by yourself. And the way that we do that is by teaching you tools that you can learn how to apply for yourself to change your results. That's it, right? And there's a lot of different variations to that definition because there's a lot of different kinds of coaching, but that's what I do, and I'm very good at it. What if all my problems are all of the above? Join my community, Lexi. You're a perfect candidate for my community. Inside, you're going to get 2 free courses that are going to teach you my basic foundational tools. So they're going to change your life immediately. You're going to get workshops weekly. You're going to access me. You're going to get community. It's just great. There's no reason not to join. Seriously, at some point it's going to be paid because what I'm offering is ridiculously valuable. And you might as well get in for free. I'd love to have you. And by the way, it's not a sales call. It's genuinely to provide value. I think this shit should be accessible for everyone. And unfortunately, the coaching world right now is becoming like a MLM bullshit garbage. Even though the tools are good, the way that people are selling them is very unethical to me. So get in. I'm doing it the right way, and I'd love to have you and change your life. All right. So I want to make sure I'm not missing any comments. Lexi, what about yes, so join. If you guys have these problems and what I'm saying kind of makes sense or it really makes sense, join my community. You're just gonna get more of it for free. But yeah, quit overeating. Yes, overeating is an underfeeling problem. Okay, so food is not a problem, it's a symptom. A symptom of what, you might ask? The emotions in your body. What creates your emotions? Your thoughts. So if I can teach you how to manage your thoughts and your emotions, you'll stop overeating. Exactly, right? We're looking at the correct problem so we can solve for the whole thing. When we look at food as the problem, we can't solve because food isn't the actual problem, it's a symptom, right? Whenever we try to solve symptoms, the problem exists. We can't actually solve it, we'll just keep masking symptoms. It's kind of like the story of Hercules when he's cutting off like the dragon's head and like 2 more grow in its place. That's what happens when you treat symptoms. That's why I don't treat symptoms, I solve problems, right? Food is not the problem. Emily, I quit smoking grass on my 2nd month, however I'm craving shrooms. What could this be? I don't think it's a problem. I think it's okay to crave substances sometimes. I don't think that things like that are inherently a problem. Right? But whenever you're craving to do something like that, just notice that it's always emotional, right? The craving isn't for the substance, it's for the change of emotions the substance will provide, right? That's why it's not a food problem, it's an emotional problem. It's not a shroom problem, it's an emotional problem, right? So, and again, emotions themselves aren't problems, desiring to do substances aren't problems, right? That's not an issue. Just make sure you understand why you're desiring them, right? Am I wanting to do this thing because I hate my life and I'm anxious and I have self-worth issues? Or am I loving my life so much and I just want to have this transcendent experience, right? You just want to make sure that you like the reasons that you want to do something, and the reasons you want to do something is always emotional. So we have to connect ourselves with our body, and that's where our insight comes from to answer questions like that, right? So if you want help with that, join my community. Seriously, I'd love to have you. There's no reason not to join. I'm being so dead ass serious right now. Get in my community. I'm trying to get as many people in that free group as possible because it's going to change your life. And it already has started changing people's lives in a really meaningful way. So thanks, Benny. How do you stop comparing yourself to others? Please help. I don't think that you need to. I think that there's some beauty in comparison. Like a lot of times when you're comparing yourself, it's a projection, right? So like the thing that they have, I do want. So in a sense, like comparison actually shows you what you want sometimes, right? Hey, I hate that my friends are having such a good time with their relationship. Oh, you want a relationship. It's good that you have your friends to amplify that projection for you because you wouldn't have even known that you were so desperate for a relationship if they weren't around. So I don't think comparison's always a problem, but I think that you can, just like anything, it's not good nor bad. It can be used for good or evil. So if you're comparing yourself all the time, then I'd recommend like find the truth in it because that'll release some of it, right? If I'm just trying to stop comparing myself to something I really do want, it's not going to work. I'm just going to keep comparing myself, so I think the biggest issue for you is managing your thoughts, and I'll help you with that in the community. But I don't think it's bad to compare. I would before you change the comparison, I think that the gift there for you is to write down all the reasons why you think you're comparing and what's true for you inside that comparison. That's your gift. And there's a truism in the psychological world, in the spiritual world, and it's a saying that goes like this: the thing I need the most is in the place I'm least willing to look. Let's say it again. The thing I need the most is in the place I'm least willing to look. What does that mean, Andrew? It means that wherever the negative emotions are, or the thing that I don't want to experience because it's uncomfortable, that's where my growth is. That's where I need to go if I want to develop to the next stage. So right now it's like you want to stop comparing, but I think for my coach brain, it's like, no, go into the comparison and be very truthful about why you're comparing to those specific people and their specific results. Because that's exactly a roadmap for what you want for your life as well. It's beautiful. But it's going to be uncomfortable to do that because in comparing, you're going to also realize that's not what you have right now. And it's going to be uncomfortable. But I think that the comparisons are really important for you right now. What's up, Evans? Seasonal depression, especially during winter, I have it really bad. Yeah, okay, so I want to offer this to you. When I was in 2019, I wanted to unalive myself. I was very depressed. I didn't want to be alive anymore. And I will tell you that I thought that the circumstances of my life were creating the depression, right? The weather, the job I had, all that. And what I was come to find is it actually wasn't. Like so much of the negative emotions you experience on a daily basis, pretty much all of them, because your thoughts create your emotions, can be mitigated by learning how to not believe every thought that comes in your head. So what I want to recommend for you is like, when you're in one of your like depression holes and you're really in it, in the thought loops, start writing your thoughts down. This is the most important thing I can tell you, Evan, so please take it seriously. Get the thoughts the fuck out of your head. Write them down. Because when you can take all these painful stories and all these thoughts that are going in my head and I can get them on paper, the magical thing happens, right? Half of them I'm like, that's bullshit. But when it's in your head, it's impossible to do that work. It's like when you're stuck in those emotions, those thoughts, they're so real. Get them out of your head, write them down. And what you're gonna find is that most of the thoughts that make you not wanna be alive anymore are completely false, but you've never given yourself permission to look at them and question them. So that's where I would recommend you start. And if you want help with this, get in my community. And at some point, I do want to create a course on depression from a non-clinical lens, because I think depression is completely something I understand. It's something I've worked with people in the psych hospital. It's something I've been through. It's something I've understood. I like depression because I think it's so crystal cut, clear, and dry for me. So get in my community. You won't regret it. And there's some courses in there that will completely change your life, by the way. I mean, instantly change your life. They're completely for free. Todd, how do you stop comparing yourself to others? Yes, we talked about that. What's up, Abby? How do I stop resisting negative emotions when I've created a habit of it? You just keep practicing, right? This is so the new course, really good question, by the way. The new course I'm coming out with Abby in the community for free, it's called How Your Brain Works. And I'm just gonna give you it really quick. So to make it really simple, just so you guys can apply it, I don't care about brain psychology. I want applicable brain psychology, okay? And psychology and like physiology, right? Your brain has two parts. I call them the animal brain and the human brain, okay? The animal brain is the part that every animal has, all right? It's the part that it's really good at saving energy. And the way that your animal brain saves energy is it starts recording habits and things like that, and it just automatizes them, makes them automatic. I don't know if that's a word. It automates, maybe is the right word. It automates them, right? So in order to change your habitual thought and emotional patterns, you have to just repeat over and over again the things that you want to practice, and then eventually it will become automatic, right? But it's uncomfortable and it takes some time. So the simple answer to your question is repetition. And the brain psychology answer to that question is repetition, but understanding why it takes repetition is important, I think. So my course will be out probably later today or tomorrow, probably tomorrow, because I have a lot of stuff going on tomorrow. Katie, true, yes. Trilogy, true, yes. Join my community. There's no reason not to. Kane, if you want to quit smoking, you have to stop seeing it as a smoking problem, because it isn't. That's a manifestation of an emotional problem, okay? So smoking is a symptom of the emotions I'm experiencing or trying not to experience. And if that makes sense to you and you're like, okay, I kind of get that, go to my podcast, Quit Vaping Podcast, join my community, and we're gonna go right into it. Same with you, Big J. What's up, Mr. Boy Lover? Not gonna lie, I don't think I can stop vaping. I'm gonna shake it like an hour. Yeah, the reason why you can't is because you're resisting emotions instead of learning how to feel them and process them, and you're using vaping just to avoid all that shit. That's the exact reason, I promise you. There's no exception to that rule, by the way. So yes, nicotine's addictive, but that's not the reason you started, and it's not the reason why it's so hard to quit for more than an hour, I promise you. Because what's very interesting is that the chemical addiction symptoms don't even come until about 8 hours. So if you can't even quit for an hour, then it has nothing to do with the chemicals and everything to do with the reasons why I'm vaping, which is always emotional, promise you. So join my community, listen to my podcast. It doesn't matter which one you do. They're both fantastic resources. Stacey, if you want to join, go right in my link in my bio and click the first link and then just sign up, and then I'll accept you after this call and you'll be in, and then you'll get the foundational course. I did your foundation. Yes. You did the workbook. It helped a lot. Yes, good. So you're starting to change your beliefs, right? This is how it goes, right? We bring awareness. So this is kind of the method I want for everyone. And this is why I'm trying to get this stuff to be accessible, because I think everyone should be practicing this stuff. Is I show you guys first that like your thoughts are optional. I show you how to understand that your thoughts are optional. Very important skill set. Metacognition, most important thing. It really is. Like your thoughts create everything. So we have to understand that they're optional, right? And then you start getting in and start looking at your own thoughts, right? And then all the wave of shame and guilt hits because you're like, holy crap, I have a lot of bad thoughts. And it's okay though, because then we start working through them. And eventually in a year after you've looked at your thoughts and start working through them, everything's different. And you're like, how is that possible? Because everything is created because of the thoughts and beliefs you habitually think every single day. So we're gonna change that stuff. So that is what the whole point of the foundation course is that I have in my community for free, and I'd love to have you. And it's already helping Abby a lot, because of course it is. It can't not help you. Okay, sorry, one second. So I appreciate the comment, Abby, I really do. Divine Reflections, 100% off Black Friday coaching. I'm confused what that means. Oh, with my coaching? Listen, actually join my community. It's already 100% off. Everything's free in there. So yeah, I'm already doing that. It's just not even a Black Friday sale. It's an every single day sale. So go join and you'll get so much shit out of it completely for free. Yeah. Yes, and Benedictus, so Benny, with seasonal depression, you can get the sunlight and that helps, but just be mindful that the most important thing you can do in order to mitigate depression, whether it's seasonal or not, is to learn how to stop believing thoughts that are hurting you. So you can't sun your way out of horrible thoughts, right? Just like you can't out-exercise a horrible diet. You have to get to the root problem, right? The reason you're feeling so many negative emotions, which is in part the vitamins, that is part of it, but it's not the biggest part. It's like 20% of it. Sierra, and of course that stuff adds up, but the most important thing is just stop believing the thoughts that are making you literally so depressed. Sierra, when I tell my husband he's talking to me rudely and to stop, he gets upset and I point out. Okay, so because you're talking to him rudely probably. Here's what I want to say. It's an accusation, right? So what I want to offer to you in a relationship is you have to be clean on your side. And if you clean up your side, it's impossible. So there's kind of the saying, like, it takes two to tango, right? So if I'm unconditionally loving and I'm a husband and I'm like, hey, I love you so much, and I just want you to know that when you said that, oh, sorry, why did my light go off? When you said that thing, sorry, one sec. So this is important. So one sec, let me put this back. Sorry, I don't know what that turned off. Divine. Okay, so I love you so much, husband, and when you said that thing to me, I thought that it sounded a little bit defensive or whatever you said, right? So I just wanted to let you know that when you said that, that's what I thought about it, and my thought about it is making me feel this way. That's totally different than, hey, you're being defensive. Hey, you're being rude, right? Do you see how one's accusatory and one is full responsibility? If you take full responsibility over your thought and your emotion over what they said, it's a completely different environment. It's also a safe environment. And when you create a safe environment for someone to speak, it's much easier for them to follow suit. But when I create an environment while I'm angry at them, they're not going to, right? Have you ever talked to someone defensively and been rude to them? What happens? Are they nice and kind and loving? Most people won't be. Most people are going to close up and get angry back. So if I lead with love and compassion, it's much harder for someone there's not even a foundation for them to get angry about, right? So if you want to change the way that your husband's speaking to you, you have to change the way you're speaking to him first. That's where your power is. You can't change husband, but you can change the way that you respond to husband, and inadvertently that might change husband. It still might not, but it probably will, okay? So again, I take responsibility for my thought and my emotion about what you said, and that's a different conversation than you're making me angry. You see how one is taking responsibility for my emotion, the other one is pushing it on husband? That's the difference, and that's it. Do I believe in Jesus? Yes, 100%. Do I believe he was the only savior? No, I don't. I think he was a savior. I think that but anyways, I'm more spiritual than I am Christian, but I wear a cross because it's the most aligned. But I could also wear like a Taoist symbol because I think Taoism makes sense. Is this pre-recorded? No. Just broke up with a dismissive attached person. Okay, well, I wouldn't label them personally. I think it's not good to label people like that because somebody isn't the label. Okay, so yeah, you're welcome, Donald. Yes, it is. Recorded? You guys are ridiculous. Bro, nobody commented. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I go on my own tangents sometimes. This is not pre-recorded. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I go on my own comments. Pre-recorded. What? It's so fast. It's amazing how fast people turn on you. Then get all angry. Thanks, Abby. I appreciate you, girl. Dakota, how do I stop overeating from stress? Learn how to be stressed. That's the problem. Right now, the biggest issue, truly, really, this is it, Dakota. The biggest issue you have in your life right now is that you were raised in an environment that doesn't allow negative emotion because they think it's wrong and bad. Okay? So one of the biggest lies in the entire world that puts people in all sorts of problems with substances is that we should be happy all the time. And that's simply not true, actually. The most meaningful situations in my entire life has always come from negative emotions. So I want to offer that to you. Like, negative emotion is just as important as positive emotion. I don't even like calling them negative emotions. I like calling them uncomfortable emotions because they are uncomfortable, but they're not necessarily negative. Just because something's uncomfortable doesn't make it not negative, right? Like, growth is there, right? So if you could learn really understand this, and I teach a course on this, by the way, get in my free community, that negative emotion is not a problem, and to stop making it a problem in your mind, then you'll stop overeating so much. Because you'll understand that when you're stressed, I don't need to eat. Nothing's gone wrong. There's nothing wrong with me. There's no problem here. I don't need to get out of this. And that's really the foundation you're going to build the meaningful life that you want off of. Because if you can't be uncomfortable enough to not eat, then you can't be uncomfortable enough to go after your business and to ask the guy out that you want and to create a dream that's actually worth living, right? Because I promise you that discomfort's the currency of your dreams. That's a Brooke Castillo quote, by the way, my coach. She's great. All right, so we're back. How can I join the free community? Go right in my bio, click the link, first link, sign up. I will let you in today. There's a free course in there. I'm adding the second part of that free course in the next couple days. I do a workshop every week, and then you have access to me, to people. Like, it's just amazing. I'm trying to make life coaching accessible. That's my mission. So join. There's no reason not to. Okay. Hey, I haven't touched my mental health notebook in 1.5 years, and I opened it last night. Yay for the workshop. I'm so happy. Sorry, yesterday wasn't super applicable mental health-wise, but I'm sure that hopefully you still learned a lot. Yes, it's called School, and there's a free app for the community too, so you can literally have it on your phone, and whenever there's a workshop or anything, you can join right from your phone. It's super easy. We'll just say, Ryan, how do I leave a friendship with someone who isn't a good person but hasn't personally hurt me? This is very interesting. There's this idea in relationships that in order to not have somebody in my life, they need to have hurt me. That's absolutely not true. And honestly, if you really want to believe that thought still, they are hurting you because you don't want to be with them. So you're hurting yourself to stay with someone you don't want to be with. Makes sense? So like, why do they need to hurt you for you? Like, there's people in my life who have not technically hurt me, but I've decided my life isn't as good as I want it to be because they're in it. not because they're bad people, just because our values for what I want doesn't align anymore, and that's okay, not a big deal. And I ask myself the question pretty regularly. Like, I look at my relationships and I ask myself, if this person was not in my life, would my life be better or worse? Very simple question. And I don't need them to be horrible to me or to hate me for me to make that decision. It's not a big deal, right? So just kind of interesting. It's interesting, but I hear that very often. It's like, oh, my husband hasn't cheated on me, so I should feel grateful. It's like, well, no, maybe you shouldn't feel grateful about the relationship. We want to look at the reasons why you don't feel grateful and make sure you like them, right? But just because they haven't cheated on you or because they haven't done something horrible doesn't mean you can't choose that you'd like to get a divorce or live. There's no right or wrong answer for that, but we just want to look at the reasons. And I think a lot of people have very, very unhealthy beliefs around relationships because they've been programmed to be like responsible for other people's emotions, which is not how we should live our lives. One sec, sorry. All right. Yes. So, and their attachment to you has nothing to do with you, by the way. You are not responsible for other people's attachment, okay? Unless they're like your child, right? That's different. But like a partner that you have that's also an adult that really should be living independently, the reason that they're very attached to you is because they're probably attached to you to feel good emotions for themselves. Really bad place to be in a relationship. You do not want to rely on somebody else to feel worthy and loved. Not good. Love only comes from your mind, by the way. And if you want more information, join my community, get in my course. It's totally free, and I'd love to have you. What's up, Log Dog? Great name. How do I stop vaping? Yes, when everyone close to me does it. Yes, stop blaming other people for your actions. That's the number one thing. It's like totally victim mindset, and I say that with so much love for you. But listen, if other people are responsible for you taking action, then you have no chance at all creating any result you want in life, and you might as well be addicted to vaping for the rest of your life and also just like curl up in a ball and let mommy feed you. I say that with so much love for you, okay? The number one thing I can teach you, really, and I think that some therapy falls short on this, not all of it, if you get a good therapist, is that you are completely responsible for your thoughts, your emotions, your actions. And if you can't accept that concept, you're always gonna be vaping because you're always gonna blame other people for it, okay? I live in a household right now. I moved back in with my parents a couple months ago, and my dad smokes 2 packs a day, and my brother vapes. And if I had to do it because they did it, then I'd be screwed. But thank goodness I know how to manage my own thoughts, okay? Cosmic Creature. And if you want help with that, go to the Quit Vaping podcast. I created the #1 podcast in the world. I'm pretty proud of that. And it's wherever you listen. And it'll help you with that. Cosmic Creature, I couldn't attend yesterday, but definitely will next Monday. All good. Yes, next Monday we're going to talk about anxiety and how to manage it. It's going to be really good. Really, really, really good. So all good. And also Cosmic Creature, I put it in the classroom tab on the workshop archive. So you can go and watch it back if you want to learn more about life coaching versus therapy. And it's great. Abby, I still get something out of it. Yes, good. Moved the foundation and got a lot from it. Yes, good. Oh, you did? Okay, good. So you did take the foundation yesterday. Awesome. So it's so good. You're gonna get so much. And then the 2 brains, how your brain works course is gonna be out in the next couple days, and it's gonna add on, and it's gonna just complete the whole picture of how to change your thoughts and behaviors and actions, and it'll be so good. All right. Log Dog, I'm also in that stitch. My husband vapes. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who vapes. It doesn't matter who, like, this is the funny, like, listen. Let me find a funny example to kind of poke holes at your logic. Okay, let's say that you were in a mile radius of somebody who shot somebody and murdered somebody. So just because you were close to them, does that mean you have to also murder someone? No, of course not. Why wouldn't you? Because you think that's ridiculous. Well, the reason why it's so hard for you to quit vaping when your husband vapes is because you don't think it's ridiculous to keep vaping. That's the problem. Your thoughts create your reality. It doesn't matter who around you is vaping or doing whatever, you don't have to do it, right? Again, let's say that you go to the zoo and like somebody jumps in the lion's cage. Do you have to do it too because they did it? Because you're in proximity to somebody else? No, of course not, because your thoughts are different, right? You don't believe thoughts that the guy who jumped in the lion's cage believe. The reason why you can't quit vaping is because you're choosing to believe thoughts that your husband believes who still vapes. That's it. It's totally about radical responsibility, and you do that with so much love for yourself, right? And this isn't about shame or judgment, by the way. It's about looking at why we're choosing to believe that our life is better with an addiction. It's a really good place to start, okay? And we don't do that with shame. It's not at all. It's like, well, just start looking at the beliefs you have, and you're going to be able to poke holes in them. And then once you poke holes in your own beliefs, you're going to see that it was never your husband's influence at all that was keeping you vaping. Okay? So just be mindful of that. Abby, and if you want help with that, Cosmic Creature, join my community. I'd love to have you. I still got something out of it. Yes, good. Okay. Wait, I'm on the, just say Ryan. Okay. Thank you. Genuinely need to hear that. Yes, of course. No problem at all. You're doing great. Join my community. I love it. You want validation? Join my community. I'll validate you and also simultaneously poke holes in your logic and unvalidate the things that are hurting you. Okay? Good. You're welcome, Cosmic Creature. Good. Listen. It's good. Dakota, so it's not about eliminating the stress, it's about learning to just be in it. It just depends, Dakota, because sometimes like the stress is completely unnecessary, right? Your thoughts create your emotions. That's the most important thing I can teach you, truly. It's like very simple but very profound, okay? So sometimes the thoughts I'm thinking are totally fictitious, they're fake, they're fake news, and they're creating all the stress in our body. So in a situation like that, it's appropriate to look at the thought and go, wait, that's not true. I don't even have to feel stressed about the situation. But then sometimes it's like, hey, you know what? The thoughts I'm thinking about this thing, they are stressful, and I think those are actually correct thoughts for the situation. So I'm not going to change the stress. I'll just learn how to deal with it. So you have two options with any situation. You can either change your thoughts, which I think actually is more often the case of the good option, or you can just let yourself feel the emotions that are a normal part of life. Stress isn't a bad emotion, by the way. Stress is like one of the most important survival emotions we have, right? When I'm stressed out, what do? I survive. It's like a survival emotion. I hunt for food. I make sure that like there's no lion in the tree that I'm about to get into. Like I kind of am distrusting of new people, right? It's a good emotion. It protects you. So stress itself isn't a problem. Sometimes the thoughts that we're thinking just aren't appropriate thoughts to be thinking that are creating an emotion that's unnecessary. One of the ways you want to think about it is if your thoughts are fake news, then the emotions are also fake news. Pretty good, right? But they're not always fake news. Sometimes I'm like, you know what? I'm choosing to be stressed about the situation because I want to be stressed. It's good for me to be stressed when I'm going into a new situation, a networking event, and I'm like kind of anxious, right? So anyways, makes sense? And if you want help with that, Dakota, join my community. I'd love to have you. Seriously. Still in love with you. Thanks, Rupert. Oh no. Rupert, you haven't joined my community yet. Might as well. Any tips for discipline? Yes, discipline is something that happens because of the thoughts you're thinking. So I'm always gonna go back to the thought work, but if you want to be disciplined for something, you have to have a good reason to be disciplined. It's that simple. There's no record psychology here, right? We don't need to sit on a couch with Freud and go back to your childhood. It's like the reason you're not disciplined is because you don't believe that it's gonna be worth it. That's it. It's that simple. So your work isn't to try to force more action over thoughts and disbelief. I don't think that's helpful. It's to find out why I don't care about the thing I say I'm trying to do. So for example, let's say you want to go to the gym at 6 a.m. every day, right? And you get up for a week and then like it's week number 2, it's Monday, you're like, fuck it, right? Most people do that. Why? Is it because you have a discipline problem? No, it's because halfway through the week, the first week you stop believing it's worth it and you stopped imagining yourself actually having the result. So the vision you had for why you're taking action fell away. You decided to stop thinking those thoughts. That's where your discipline went, right? You don't actually have a discipline issue. You have an issue being able to imagine a clear vision for the future that actually is emotionally compelling. Make sense? Very simple. It's really that simple, I promise you. The reason I'm on this call right now is because I have a vision for my life that I have to be consistent for my business for, right? My vision is what got me on this call. Nothing about discipline. Discipline is it's a side effect of having a clear vision, in my opinion, and that doesn't have to be more difficult than that. How do you meditate? Practice. Stop trying to force it. There's a story about a guy who wants to be a samurai, and he goes to the best samurai in the world, right? Let's say the best samurai in the world. And he's like, hey, I want to be a samurai. How long will it take me? And the samurai looks at him and he says, it's going to take 20 years. And then the guy's like, no, you don't understand. I'm really special. I'm going to do 50 hours a week and I'm going to not sleep. I won't have a girlfriend. Like I will dedicate my entire life to being a samurai. And then he's like, how long will it take now? And the samurai said, well, then it'll take you 40 years. Isn't that interesting, right? And the samurai's message for the guy was, whenever you're in a rush to do something, it takes you way longer to get there, okay? It's just how the world works. When I resist something, I persist. If I'm trying to push past a problem, I'm gonna create more obstacles in the way. It's just how the world goes. It's both a spiritual and a psychological idea, right? So what I'd recommend for you is let it take as long as it takes to meditate and let it just be a messy process, and that's going to put you in the best position to be an expert meditator rather than you trying to listen to other people or guided meditations to get good fast. It's not about getting good fast. It's about literally being okay with it taking as long as it needs to take, and that's exactly the mindset it takes to create anything in life. And this is what gets people, right? It's like, imagine you want to lose weight, right? I want to get to my goal weight as soon as possible, okay? What ends up happening? I restrict myself, I hate it, I'm rude to myself, I hate myself, I binge. And this goes on for years. So in order to lose 20 pounds, it took you 40 years. Well, it's like, what if you just let it take as long as it would have, right? From the get-go. Hey, I want to lose 20 pounds, that's my goal. I'm gonna let it take a whole year, right? It doesn't need to happen in 3 weeks, it'll take a whole year. What would happen is you'd probably lose 20 pounds within 3 months because you're not in a rush to get there. So you're gonna mess up, and instead of making it mean something bad or freaking out, you're not gonna spiral, right? So it's always about the lack of the rush that is going to get you there the fastest. And the way that we stop rushing is we figure out why we're trying to rush, which is always emotional, right? Why do you want to be a samurai so bad? I want to feel successful. Well, it's like, okay, well, you give yourself that emotion now ahead of time, and then you don't need to rush, right? The reason you want anything is because you're trying to get there as soon as possible. The reason you want anything is because the emotion you think it'll make you experience, right? So give me a result. Anybody here who has a goal, and we'll talk about it. I think it's a really good example. Also, if you guys want more information on this, I have a course in my free community. It's a free course. It'll teach you all about this stuff. Do I think people can be addicted to stress? No. I think people can be addicted to avoiding other emotions, and that manifests as always being busy. Sometimes the safest emotions are the ones that we're used to, even if they're unhealthy emotions, like fight or flight, right? Because underneath the fight or flight is way bigger emotions that are even scarier, like unworthiness and shame, right? So people don't get addicted to stress, they get addicted to avoiding the emotions that are even scarier than stress. That's a good way of thinking about it, okay? So yeah, fine. If no one's gonna put a result, let's say you want to have a partner. This is a good result everybody can resonate with, right? So why do you want a partner? Well, I want to feel loved and worthy, and nobody says this, but this is why you want a partner, right? I want to feel connected and loved and worthy, right? So the reason you want a partner is so that you can feel positive emotions in your life. Makes sense, right? There's no other reason. Like, there literally is no other reason. Think of any reason that you want to have a partner that loves you, and it always comes back to an emotion you want to experience from that partner, right? Well, the beautiful thing is that your partner can't give you emotions. So did you know that your love, that whenever you feel the emotion of love in your body, it's your love. It cannot come from anybody else. How is that possible? Because what creates your emotions? Your thoughts. So when I have a thought that feels loving, I have an emotion of love correspond in my body. That's my love. That's nobody else's love. Even if my partner does something nice for me, right? They bring me some roses. I'm not feeling their love. I'm feeling the love that I've created because of the thought about the roses, right? So my partner brings me some flowers and I think, oh, they love me. And it's actually not the flowers that creates the emotion, it's my thought about it. Oh, I'm loved. Ooh, that's your love. Very interesting, right? So if the reason you want anything in life is because of the emotion you think it'll make you feel, and you can give yourself that emotion right now in the present moment, then you don't need to rush anywhere. And that's the spiritual truism. And that's why once you become the kind of person who creates your own emotions for yourself, everything that you want comes to you immediately because you no longer need it. That's how it goes. That's the law of attraction, by the way. Make sense? That was pretty good, wasn't it? Okay, what's up, Em? Yeah, so we talked. What's up, Cheryl? Morning. The workshop was awesome. Thank you for coming. We need to figure out how to get insurance cover. Yeah, but you know what, Cheryl? I'm trying to make life coaching accessible, so we don't need to answer that question. So I agree with you. Right now, I'm just gonna be totally transparent. Right now, if you work with me one-on-one, I'm charging $150 a session, and you're gonna work with me for 4 to 12 weeks, typically, right? Which is way more accessible than most coaches, honestly. I'm like 40 to 80% cheaper, and my coaching is higher quality. I'll just say that. I'm a very fucking good coach. I'm trying to make this accessible, and I think that I can make a living off that. But what I'm trying to do right now is I have this free community I'm building, and anybody here is welcome. If you want to join the free community, I have free courses in there. I have free workshops. There's going to be so much free value in there. And then as a corresponding community, I'm trying to make a paid option. And the paid community is going to be somewhere between like 27 and like $40 a month. So really, really cheap. And I'm going to offer anywhere from 10 to 20 live calls a month in that group. So you literally can have up to 20 hours of access to life coaching for like $27 to $37. Crazy, right? And then I'm going to also record those calls. You can join anonymously, so you can still get coaching. You can get anonymous. All we have to record is your voice. And I'm going to record those calls into a call archive so that when people get in, if they don't want to get directly coached, they can listen to all the calls back of people actually getting coached on their problems. So it's going to be really powerful. I've never seen anyone do something like this before, and I think it's going to work. So if you want life coaching to be more accessible, I think I'm the perfect person to bring that to you. And right now, if you're not sure if you want life coaching, you're not sure about therapy, join the free community and check out the stuff. I just did a workshop last night. I literally just archived it, so it's free in there, and there's workshops and courses, and join. I'd love to have you. Oh, did you meet somebody? Thanks, Benny. Thanks. I don't know who you muted, but it's okay. All right, one sec. Let me see. So, motivation. Yes, motivation comes from your thoughts. All right. So the most important thing I can say about motivation is motivation is a symptom of the thoughts we're thinking. Okay. So if I'm having trouble motivating myself to go to school or to lose weight, I promise you it's because the vision for what I want and the result that I want isn't very clear. And if it is clear, it's not emotionally exciting, okay? So the way that you sustain motivation is by sustaining the vision for the future you have after you've taken the steps forward with motivation. So it's not the motivation that gets you the result. It's me spending more time imagining my life with the result already done and being excited for that result. And that excitement is motivation, right? So whenever you want to create a result in your life, it doesn't matter what it is, it's very important that you figure out what it is that you want first, okay? You get specific as you can, okay? Whether it's a job, a partner, whatever, like what's that gonna look like for you, right? And then spend time asking yourself, like, what would it actually be like if I had this partner right now? What thoughts would I be thinking that I'm not thinking currently, right? What would I have to be thinking? Well, I love myself, my partner loves me. I'm not thinking those thoughts right now. Well, that's why I don't have a partner, right? You have to become the person in your mind who already has that result. And it's becoming the person in your mind, spending time in the future with your imagination. By the way, humans are the only people that can do this. That's why we have the lives that we do. It's by spending time in the future on purpose that creates the motivation in the present. Isn't that kind of crazy? But that's exactly how it works. So motivation it's a future-based thing that we create in the present right now with a clear vision. That's it. So that's it. Am I a therapist? No, I'm a life coach. They're different. If you want information about that, I'll tell you. But I also just did a workshop yesterday in my free community. It's a free workshop. It's recorded, and you can go check it out if you want to join the community. I'd love to have you. And I spent 30 minutes talking about the difference between coaching and therapy, and when it's appropriate therapy, when it's appropriate coaching. I think I did a pretty good job with that workshop. You're welcome, Squished. If you didn't join my community yet, join it. I'd love to have you. It's in my links in my thing. Not even so. Getting Nick Sosby from vaping. How does that? Yeah, because it's not about the nicotine. It's because you're so uncomfortable in your emotions that you're willing to make yourself sick to get out of them, right? Your thoughts create your emotions, drive your actions. If you're vaping, I promise you, it's because of the emotions in your body, okay? Yes, nicotine is chemically addictive. Everybody knows that. That's not the main problem. So what I recommend to you is go to the Quit Vaping podcast. It's the #1 podcast in the world. I created it. I'm really proud of that. Go wherever you listen to podcasts. It's on YouTube. It's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you want to go. Just Google it. It's 30 places will pop up. It's all over the place. And listen to that podcast, and you're going to find the actual problem that you've been asking for. Like, if you're here right now and I'm talking about a problem you've been having, it's because the universe brought you here because you're ready to receive help on that. That's just how the law of attraction works. So there's the help. Go to the community if you want. Sign up for free. Go listen to the podcast. I got you. Okay? Thanks, Squishy. Barbara, do you have a degree? Yes, I have a 4-year degree in psychology. My 4-year degree in psychology was very theoretical. It didn't help me that much. I truly believe, I believe that we're at an age right now in the world where YouTube has better information than most colleges for free. So now there's exceptions to that, right? If I need to get like technical training to be a doctor or something, obviously I need to go through a program and actually learn experientially. But if you're just going to get theoretical 4-year degree, YouTube that shit, save $100,000 and get a better education. That's it. That's my recommendation for you. The 4-year degree in psych was shit. What actually helped me become a life coach was 3 coaching certifications that were very applicable. They actually taught me experientially how to help people and myself. And then also just doing this for the last 3 years, I've gotten pretty good at it. So yeah, thanks for sharing the live, guys. Thanks for liking the live, guys. Like that shit. If I'm helping you like this, give my people a chance to find me. All right, I'm drinking some coffee. So I forgot. I always gotta ask people to like my live. Sorry about that, guys, but the algorithm will actually push it out further if you like it, so I appreciate that deeply. And if you haven't joined yet, thank you. If you haven't joined yet, join my community. Seriously, I'm bringing life coaching and making it accessible. It should be accessible. Yeah, this is the best coffee, Tim Hortons. Oh my God, I live in Michigan. There's something about Tim Hortons with 2 shots of cream that is just like, gets me going. And by the way, I want to say this to you guys. I am not anti-substance. I think you can have a healthy relationship with nicotine, caffeine, amphetamine, like anything, right? You just want to make sure you like the reasons you're doing it, you like the effects it has in your life, and you're not dependent on that substance. That's all I'm gonna say. I have a community that's in my bio, if you click the first link, and I offer free life coaching tools and workshops and a whole bunch of shit, all for free. It's free right now. At some point I might charge for it. I doubt it, but I'm gonna have a paid group at some point, but that's not the paid group, it's all free. Just get in, get all the value. I have all these courses and everything. It's so good, it's so amazing. I put the live recordings from these TikToks on there too, so if you're ever gonna look back or just like go on a walk and listen to me ramble and help people answer questions, that's cool too. So thanks Benny, I appreciate you. What's up, Lauren? Hey, Lauren, thanks for coming yesterday. You were so sweet. I don't know if you realize how sweet you are, but thank you so much for all the feedback. It means the world to me. Sometimes it feels like I'm in a vacuum. So I appreciate it. Hopefully you liked the thing last night. And next week I'm doing a workshop on anxiety. It's gonna be really good. It's gonna be really, really, really good. It's all about how to manage anxiety. And I'm gonna have an amazing take on it. And what you're gonna learn is gonna blow your fucking mind. So anyways, yeah. All right. How long have I been on for? 43 minutes. All right, I gotta stay on for at least 20 more minutes, guys. So if we've got any questions, ask away. If not, I'll just keep rambling. Thanks, Lauren. All right, so I have a question. Have you been a guest on Mel Bright's podcast by chance? No, I don't know who Mel Bright is. Actually. What console? Like? Yeah. Benny, did you block keywords? You're never in a vacuum. You know I'm always here. Yes, thank you, Cognito. You're always right. You're right. Thank you. Okay, cool. Thank you for not blocking keywords. I don't like censorship. You quit smoking. Awesome. Yeah, they're keywords. TikTok loves censorship, which I hate. But if you want help quitting I have a podcast. It's called the Quit Vaping Podcast. It's great. And if you also need more help, join the community. I'd love to have you, seriously. And I will teach you my foundational courses for free. I'll get you in my workshops. I'm doing once a week. They're also recorded in case you can't make it live. Yeah. They're going to block you on that. I don't know why. They're weirdos. TikTok. Let me get a blanket. My legs are cold. It's finally getting to be like winter in Michigan. So I get cold easily, so I wrap my legs in a blanket. All right, so yeah. So again, guys, I've been doing this for about 3 years, and I'm on a mission right now to bring this stuff to people because I really do believe that the tools that I teach around your managing your thoughts and emotions, it should be mainstream. And I believe that every single person I teach this information that applies in their life, we raise the consciousness of the planet a little bit. And that's a good thing because when the consciousness of the planet is raised, we tip the scales a little bit more towards love. And eventually we're into a place where we're so advanced as human beings that we don't have war or anything. We're not at that place yet, but this is the daily work we do to get us there. It's pretty cool, right? So if you want that, if that sounds interesting to you, whether you're spiritual or religious or not, doesn't matter. The tools will work for you. And I am personally spiritual. I started wearing a cross recently because I do align with Christianity. I'm reading Jordan Peterson's book, you guys. I'm sorry. So, in 2019, I was really depressed, and Jordan Peterson helped me change my life and helped me learn how to kind of start managing my thoughts. So I bought Jordan Peterson's new book. It's really cool. I have not started yet. I'm doing a book club with my mom, but it's called We Who Wrestle with God, and I just think he has an amazing take on this. So I'm really excited to read it. And if you guys want to do a book club, let me know. I'd love to talk to you about it. Something from your foundation course was really clicking, almost felt like yes. What was it? What was it that clicked for you and felt like deja vu? Because I believe that the work I teach, we all know before we come into this planet. I believe that we are all perfectly divine creators and we know everything. And then the whole point of coming to Earth is to relearn this stuff so we can create on purpose. It's kind of fun, right? But I genuinely believe that. I don't think that's a crazy belief. I think that if you listen to a lot of the spiritual teachers, they say the same thing too, right? We come here on purpose and we are eternal beings that this isn't our first lifetime. So it's kind of interesting. How can I love myself more? Addie, join my community. I have a community that is completely free. It's called Life Coaching in Your Community. And I'm going to teach you my foundation course, which is going to teach you the basis of how to love yourself more. But in effect, what you actually want to do is learn how to change your thoughts about yourself. Like loving yourself really is just learning how to intentionally think good thoughts about yourself until you believe them by repetition, right? A lot of people have no idea their thoughts are optional. A lot of people have no idea what they're thinking. All they know is that they feel bad all the time, right? So what I'm going to help you do is bring illumination, some enlightenment onto your thoughts and emotions, and we're going to start working through them until you actually start to have a better relationship with yourself, right? And what this is going to include is building healthy boundaries, learning how to stop people pleasing, figuring out what it is you even want and taking action towards it, even if it makes other people uncomfortable, right? This is the whole thing. So seriously, join my community. I'd love to have you. It's free right now. It'll be free and you'll get grandfathered in if you join now. And then I'll teach you 2 courses. They're in there already, one of them, and then the other one will be out tomorrow. And then also I have some workshops. I'll be doing workshops every week. So like, it's just going to be a ridiculous resource for you completely for free. There's really no strings attached. I would love to have you. So yeah, I'm trying to make life coaching accessible because it's such life-changing stuff we teach. Also, I'm totally wearing a Hannah Montana shirt. I totally forgot I had this on. I don't know what this is. Like, I thought it was wet. Oh, it's a fuzzy. Oh, okay. Yes, Cosmic Creature, the book Rex, for sure. Did you join my community yet, Cosmic Creature? You should. The thoughts determining emotions part. Yes, and the difference between thought, feeling, and emotion. Yes, isn't that so good? Listen, like, I want to tell you guys, your thoughts create your emotions. If I'm in anxiety, it's because I'm thinking thoughts that are creating anxiety. And I'm not saying that's wrong to be in that emotion, but isn't it good to know that? Like, isn't it? Because I think one of the worst parts of my life in 2019 when I felt so out of control, the worst thing about my life was that I felt out of control over the way I was feeling. And life coaching actually showed me that I have control over that, and that changed everything for me. It seriously brought me out of depression. Like, literally, within a 2-week period, brought me out of depression. And then I started working in a psych hospital. Like, everything started changing for me. And yes, I still have bad days sometimes, but like, they're never going to get as bad as they were when I felt out of control of my thoughts and my emotions. So seriously, join the community. I'd love to teach you this stuff. The foundation course that Lauren's talking about is completely for free, and you can join in and jump right in today. Hey Wilson, you told me to analyze the feeling I'm getting while struggling with snacking, and it's helpful. Yes, it's okay. Like, and not analyze it from a judgmental place, from such a loving place for yourself, right? Sorry, my light's being weird. Like, this is what I do now. It's such a different conversation than I used to have when I would overeat. I was morbidly obese, by the way, and I hated myself. Growing up, I hated myself. I had a twin brother that was skinny. I was the fat one. Hated myself. I was if someone's gonna compare themselves, get a twin, right? And be the ugly one. Seriously. So, anyways, I would sit in my room and I would just like feel horrible, and I didn't even know I was feeling horrible, and I would just eat and eat and eat and eat, right? And the story in my head used to be, you're fat, you're ugly, no one likes you. It's completely different now. It's like when I know that I'm not physically hungry and I'm trying to go eat something, I sit down, I'm like, is everything okay? Right? Like, I actually treat myself now like I care about myself, and it's so much easier from that place to not overeat. Because when you don't have negative emotions about yourself, there's nothing to eat over. So yes, it's important to understand your thoughts and feelings, but the most important thing when it comes to overeating is just building a better relationship with yourself, thought by thought, on purpose. And it will work for you, just repetition, right? I've been doing this work for about 3 or 4 years, and I actually believe that I love myself now. I didn't used to believe that. So join my community if you want this result. And this is just the beginning, right? Like, I have no limit to where this could take me. It's all about becoming more compassionate to ourselves. And when we do that, there's so much less negative emotion to deal with and to eat over, okay? So I'd love to have you in the community. It's totally for free, and I'd love to have you. And there's also free courses in there as well that you can take today. So yes, I'm happy that you did that. A. Wilson, nice job. Seriously, nice job doing that for yourself. I really mean that. Like, that is the practical steps of getting into a body and a life that you love. It's not any more difficult than that. Just a lot of compassion. And unfortunately, we're taught in society that shame is the way to change, and shame is never going to help you. Shame is the furthest thing away from creating the life that you want, and never is going to help. Don't ever let your brain or yourself believe that beating yourself up is what you need to create a better life. It's a lie. It comes right from the devil. All right? Gish. Okay, good. You joined. What's your advice for losing weight? Exactly what I just said. Start to get curious instead of shameful curious, right? And when I want to eat something, am I actually hungry? Have you asked yourself that question before? Am I hungry? Is there something going on with me emotionally, right? Like, is there anxiety in my body, right? Like, I didn't know until I was 25 years old that I was anxious a lot. I had no idea. I'd never sat down. I just ate over everything. But I'll tell you, I teach about this in the foundation course, but one day I literally sat down. I had just eaten a huge salad for lunch. Physically hungry, not at all. I was like actually so overly full. I ate too much. And like 20 minutes later, I was still very full. And I had this like really big impulse to get up and eat a protein bar. And I sat down, I had the protein bar in my hand, and I'm like, why am I about to eat this? And I sat down, I took some deep breaths. I'm like, oh, wow, this is very enlightening. There's a lot of pressure in my chest. And I just sat there, I remember for like 5 to 10 minutes, I just breathed. I'm like, I think I'm in an emotion right now. I don't think it's hunger. And that was the first time I ever was able to feel a name anxiety in my body. And from that place on, it was never a surprise or a wonder to me why I was overeating, okay? So if you want to start overeating, like, figure out, first of all, you have to differentiate what's physical hunger versus emotional discomfort. And then we just have to go to work practicing to experience the emotions when we have them without making it a problem. And where they're coming from, because sometimes some of the problem is like we just don't even know what we're thinking. So the emotion is completely avoidable, but we're not even aware of it. All right. So one sec. I'm on. One sec. Yes, please join my free community, Cam Tam. I would love to have you. Seriously, join. Anybody, please join. If you're at all even kind of curious, join. It's free. There's no risk to you joining, and it'll change your life. Can you approach alcohol? Yes, 100%. It's the same thing. Any problem with substances, doesn't matter what it is, it's always an emotional problem. So it doesn't matter what we're teaching. And this is why, like, when I was becoming a life coach, I got all this advice from business coaches for the last 3 years that I need to find a niche. It's like, I actually don't, because the tools that I teach will apply to anything. So if I teach you the foundational tools, it doesn't matter what we're coaching on. I can specifically help you with any problem if you ask questions directly, right? So I can niche down for any problem using the same basic tools that I teach all my clients. So if you want help with any substance, please join the group. I'm telling you, join the group and just, instead of food, replace it with alcohol. And I'll make specific courses on alcohol and vaping and all the substances. Just for right now, if I'm talking about one substance that doesn't relate, just change the substance in your mind, right? All right. Stopping, yes, and yeah, exact same psychology. Michelle, new here and saying, yay, Michelle, join my community, girl. It's totally free. I'd love to have you. And there's a course in there that is amazing. It's called The Foundation. It'll change your life. And then I also do workshops every week, and I will do workshops specifically on what people want. Next week, my workshop is on anxiety and how to manage anxiety, okay? I feel like the need for money causes a lot of negative. Yes, can you talk about? Yes. Okay, money's important. I think that money is one of the most, like, illuminating topics we can talk about, right? Because money in our society is synonymous with freedom, right? So whenever we think about money, all of our worthiness issues come up, all of our worth and our, like, everything, right? Because we have so much drama around money. And I don't mean to say drama to, like, make your problems sound small or illegitimate. They're very legitimate. But what's so cool about money is that the way that we think about money is the way that we create money, okay? Now, the problem is that so many of us have been raised to think about money in a scarce and scary and fearful way, right? So when we start learning this work around emotions or around relationships or alcohol, right? We can apply the same psychology right over to money, right? If I think about my body in a way that makes me feel bad, I'm going to eat more, right? Isn't that ironic? It's like, so what do you do to change your body? Start thinking about it when it feels loving. Same thing with money, right? If I think about money, I think about scarcity and fear. It's like, that's not loving. That's not loving. That's actually going to push money away from you because it's going to make you scared to even be around it. It's weird how your brain works, but it will prove it. It will do that to you. So it's like when I think about money, my only job is to think about money and to make a relationship with money that I want to have. When I think about money, how do I want to feel? Secure, loving, abundant, right? So our job with money is to figure out all the crap that we have that doesn't serve us, that we believe, and start changing it, just like anything else, right? We have a paradigm around money. Paradigm is just a set of beliefs. I put it in the community today, that Bob Proctor thing, right? So many people have bad paradigms around money because people don't actually understand how money works. Nobody has financial education in terms of manifestation. It's very, very limited, the people that understand how money actually works. It's an energy, right? So if you think about anything in a way that scares you, you're going to exactly create that situation for yourself. Because what we focus on, we create more of. So if I think about the lack of money, I'll create the lack of money. But if I can instead think about how grateful I am, like this is an exercise I'm practicing right now with money. Whenever I pay a bill, I seriously, before I pay it, I get into the state of gratitude for even having the money to pay the bill. Okay, so like yesterday, I paid $1,000 on one of my credit cards, and my habitual pattern in the past would have been, oh, I'm so scared, I don't want to spend this money, it's bad, it's awful, I shouldn't have even had the debt, all the crap, right? And I'm like, no, I will not click submit on this bill until I get into a state of gratitude. I did it. I got into a state of gratitude. I'm like, I'm so grateful I even have $1,000 right now to be able to pay this card off, right? And it was a completely different energy. And if you do that 100 times a day around money, or even once a day around money for 100 days, right? Your whole energy starts shifting. You start attracting money that you've never attracted before because your energy has created new results, okay? So anyways, that's what I have to say about that. Incognito, I teach this idea called HALT, before you eat. I'm hungry, anxious, lonely, tired. Exactly, it's great. Yeah. And just be mindful that don't let that what's it called, anagram, don't let the HALT thing, I forgot what it's called, it starts with an A. Abbreviation. Don't let that abbreviation become the only emotions you allow yourself to think that are in your body, though. Because it could be any emotion, right? Like for me, the two big that I would eat over was anxiety and boredom. So just be mindful. I like that, but just check to make sure there's always a whole plethora of emotions you can experience. So don't limit yourself to one abbreviation, because it might actually have you miss emotions. Goose, I'm starving. Okay, then if you're starving, then what I recommend you do is like get a piece of paper and write 1 through 10 on the piece of paper. Numbers 1 through 10, okay? And all you have to do is write how hungry am I before I eat. If you're at a 1 is like starving, 10 is like I'm so full I can't even move. Okay, so if you're at a 1, write that down and then take a bite of food and see what happens. And what you want to do is actually be very mindful about what it feels like to get from a 1 to full, which is usually a 6, right? Something like that, 5 or 6. So do that exercise, because I would beg to differ that if you're actually starving, you haven't eaten in 3 days. I went on a 3-day fast this year in July. It was a 3-day water fast. All I did was drink water. And I will tell you, during that whole thing, I didn't even get starving. I would have never put myself at a 1. It's kind of crazy, right? I would have never imagined that, but I was like, the most I got down to was like a 2.5, where I'm like, I'm really hungry, but I'm not like starving, right? So a lot of people, they're confusing their negative emotions with food. And what I want to say is it's typically never an emergency to eat. So if you feel like it's an emergency and you're starving, that's emotional, that's not physical hunger. I almost can promise you that, unless you haven't eaten for 5 days, from personal experience. So just want to be mindful of that. The way that we talk creates emotions. So what you're probably, when you think the thought I'm starving, you have all these anxiety emotions because you're like, I need to eat. And it's actually the emotions that you're trying to eat over, not the actual physical sensation of hunger in your stomach. So be mindful of that. What's up, Dwayne? I really want to stop over drinking, but I have so much responsibilities that I'm overwhelmed. Yeah, so the thing you want to do with drinking is stop seeing it as a way to deal with your emotions. Sorry if you guys can hear that. I feel like there's always the neighbors doing leaves. Okay, if I allow myself to believe the lie, it's a lie, it's not true, that drinking helps with my emotions, I'm never going to stop drinking. So you have to first and foremost question what you believe about alcohol. That's it. Just like nicotine, I do the same work with people with vaping, right? Vaping, alcohol, it's not helping you with your emotions, it's numbing them. Okay? So I want you to think about this. If let's say you have a dog, a puppy, right? And it poops in your house. Okay? So what do you do with the poop? You just walk over and just put a tissue over it. Is that cleaning the poop? Is that actually helping with the problem? No, all you did was just put a piece of paper on top of it. You've just covered up the problem. So what's gonna happen later is your dog's gonna like step in it and make a huge mess, right? Or it's gonna just get old and moldy and it's gonna become even worse, okay? So if you think of drinking as picking up the poop, you're never gonna stop drinking. But drinking isn't picking up the poop. Drinking is just putting a napkin on top of the existing poop. And also, drinking creates a lot of negative problems on top of the poop, right? So now, not only do I have a piece of poop on my ground, also I'm killing my liver. I feel like crap. I'm anxious the next day, right? I hate myself. I spent money. I spent time, investment. I don't remember what I said or who I talked to. Is that actually helping you? Not in any way, shape, or form. So when you allow yourself to believe the lie that drinking is helping your life, then you're always going to need to drink. But that's a lie, right? A lot of people are taking actions off of lies they believe, right? My whole entire life before I started doing this work was created based off of lies I've been told that I just believed. So your work, if you want to change your behavior, is stop thinking about the thing you're doing that's hurting you in a way that's making you want to do it so much. And I just tell myself the truth now. You know, like this week, let's say, I'm not drinking right now, but let's say this week I want to go drink, right? Oh, well, I just want to go get numb. Not a problem. I want to numb myself out. I want to do that. I want to release some dopamine. It's not helping me with my life, but it's just something I want to do because sometimes I like to just get a quick dopamine hit. See the difference, story? Very important. Very, very important to not tell lies about what we're doing or else you can't change it, right? So that's what I want to ask you too. And get in my community, by the way. If you guys are interested, like free community, get in it. Links in the bio. But that's what I want to say. If I believe that I have a lot of responsibilities and alcohol's helping me with them, it's going to be very hard to quit. And even if I do quit, I'll be in willpower. I'll be like, well, I have all this responsibility and I need my crutch, right? Well, it's like your crutch was only ever making things worse, right? If I actually believe that and I tell the truth about what alcohol does in my life, it's much easier to quit it. And again, it's not to shame you. It's not to say you can never drink again. You just do it controlled and you don't lie to yourself about why you're doing it and how it's affecting you. That's all. Make sense? All right, so one sec. I eat when I'm unhappy. Yeah, because you want to numb the unhappiness. It doesn't make you happy, it numbs, right? So this is the important thing. Again, this is the main foundational thing I can tell you about any substance problem is the substance isn't helping you feel happy. It's not giving you positive emotions. It's just helping you avoid the negative ones. The substance isn't picking up the dog poop. It's just throwing shit on top of it, right? So tell the truth about the substance and then you can actually make a change. But if you tell yourself lies, you're going to take action based on the lies and you're never going to be able to create a different result. That's where most people are. And I don't mean that with, again, there's no shame, there's no judgment in my voice. I want you to know that. I just want you to know also that it's the most compassionate thing for you to do to start telling the actual truth and to look at what you're believing and make sure you really like the belief and make sure it makes sense to you. Most of us have never done that. Most of us haven't given ourselves permission to do that. Okay. Yeah, and Richard posts daily. So I think that your advice is flawed because I would never recommend somebody take a problem that's emotional and then solve it with another substance because you're just giving it, it's like taking medication for anxiety. It's like, it's not gonna help you with that. It's gonna numb it, right? Numbing is not solving. So I'm not a believer in numbing. And again, not to say that I don't believe in medication, I do. It has a time and a place, but I don't believe that for this problem, I'd ever recommend you just numb it with a different substance. It's just not gonna help you, right? It's like, oh, just quit smoking and start eating food. Now you're 50 pounds overweight. Is your life really better? No, you haven't dealt with the actual situation, right? Oh, quit this job that you hate, that you're stressed out about, just get another one that you're equally stressed out about. Is that gonna help you? No, because the problem is internal, right? So, love all your teachings, especially love what you said about love and starving. Thank you, I appreciate that. Brilliant, thank you. I'm gonna do workshops on overeating in the future, and I'm very, very good food coach. Not because of nutrition, because of the psychology behind eating. But I actually do have nutrition. Do I have private calls available today? I don't, Ashley, I'm sorry, I don't actually. I have a pretty busy schedule today. You mean for the welcome call? Is that what you're asking about? Yeah, so the community I have is free right now. I do a welcome call, 20-minute welcome call just to meet you and talk, see what you need. And then if you guys want one-on-one, so I don't have my coaching community up yet. So right now, the only thing I'm offering to work one-on-one with me is one-on-one coaching. So you just gotta consult and then we'll build out a plan. The plan will probably, the plan will probably be most likely 5 to 16 sessions. I charge $150 a session. So do the math in your head. It just depends. I don't know how long it's gonna be until I talk to you and figure out what the actual plan is we have. Yes, actually, I don't have any today. If it's not on my schedule, I'm sorry. And did I have to I had to reschedule some calls. I'm sorry. I'm going, on Friday, I'm going to the casino with my brother. We go like once a year. And I totally forgot that it's the day after Thanksgiving is this week. I thought it was next week. So I scheduled the wrong day off. So I had to move some welcome calls. So I apologize about that if that was one of you. But I don't have any available today. But Ashley, you can just DM me because I have space available throughout the day. Just probably no space is open for the full welcome call. So just DM me in the group and I'll try to help you if I can, okay? Cool. All right, let's see. All right, guys, so I've been on pretty long today, about an hour. I might hop off a little bit early. I got a call at 11 o'clock, but I will stay on for a couple more minutes if you want. Is there something specific I need to know to show this work? I'm done with showing. I don't think so. I think you have to click, I don't know if you did or not. I don't know if but I think you have to click lesson completed at the bottom of the lesson. If you just click the video on the left, it won't complete it. So if you just go back and click lesson completed all the way through, it'll do. I don't know why it doesn't do that. It should automatically, but yeah. You're welcome. Yes, there's no exercise yet, but Lauren, with the new course, I have a very simple exercise at the bottom of it. The How Your Brain Works. It's a really simple exercise to get you to manifest something. So, thanks, Abby. I appreciate that, girl. You know, if you have, let me tell you something about going to the casino and money. You have to go in a complete vibration of just acceptance. I used to go when I was guilty. I'd be like, oh, I shouldn't be at the casino. I shouldn't spend this money. I have bills, right? And I would always lose it because it's the law of attraction, right? If I'm in guilt, I receive guilt, right? If I'm in abundance, I'm like, you know what? This money is totally to have fun. I'll win money every time. It's how the law of attraction works. What's up, Brandon? Brandon, I'm leaving right now. I'm sorry, but you are back. Thoughts on depression, how to overcome it? Yes, Johnny, join my community. Do it right the fuck now. Because I have a very unique perspective on depression, one that's both in the clinical and non-clinical worlds. And depression's a problem with meaning. And ultimately, your meaning comes from your thoughts. So there's two things that'll help you with depression. And I'm going to make a workshop on this at some point, just probably not very, very soon, but it doesn't matter. Join the community. It'll help you anyways, because all the work I do is based in this principle. Depression has two problems. One is environmental, like the way that I'm actually living is physically unhealthy for my brain. Important to understand that. And then two is all about your thoughts and emotions, right? The main problem that creates depression in society, I really believe, is that we are not taught how to manage our thoughts, and we just get into thought loops and we think that our thoughts are true, especially the ones that create a lot of pain. So get in my community. There's no reason not to. Abundance is the key word, yes. Thanks, Ben. Thanks, Benny. Okay, I'm gonna go, guys. What do you do when you feel like everyone is making you a problem, even when you distance yourself? Ashley, let them make you a problem. I'm a problem in a lot of people's life. Why? Because I say what I actually want to say, and I think what I think, and people don't like that, right? Because a lot of what I think challenges other people's limiting beliefs. So my job is never to worry about other people's thoughts and emotions. That's not my job. I'm never gonna take responsibility for that. I used to. It made my life horrible. I was overweight, by the way. I just won't do that anymore. So if somebody else has a problem with what I say, that's okay. They're allowed to have a problem. I'm not gonna invalidate their emotions. That's okay. I'm gonna understand that they have thoughts that could create their emotions, and that's not my responsibility. I'm not gonna tell them they shouldn't be that way or they should, right? The only reason that you'd want everyone to agree with you is because you wanna feel worthy and valued and heard. So make yourself feel that way, right? By believing thoughts that make yourself feel that way. Don't worry about anybody else's opinions. They're not your responsibility. And the moment that you really believe that, you become the most compassionate version of yourself for other people. Because the version of me that doesn't care about other people's thoughts and emotions actually shows up in love for all of them, in acceptance and understanding. The version of me that doesn't understand that their emotions are their responsibility, tries to change them, and that's not loving. Trying to change someone who doesn't want to change is not loving. It's actually the opposite of love, right? I read this book called The Shack, where this guy goes and talks, he has like this dialogue with God. His daughter gets murdered, he wakes up with God. And the main thesis of the whole book is the opposite of love is forcing people to do things, right? So that's why God gives us free will, right? We actually have so much freedom that we can choose to love or to not love. We have so much freedom that we can actually choose our own bondage. Pretty good, right? So, you know, the most loving thing you can do for somebody else is accept them for how they are without taking responsibility for their thoughts and their emotions. Because you show up in love for them, unconditional. You don't try to change them, okay? So anyways, I'm gonna go. Thanks for being here. Join my community if you haven't yet. I'll let you in right now. And then I'm gonna go have breakfast and get on a call. All right, thanks, Ashley.